Hey, Mike, you used to cycle, didn't you?
Yeah.
Do you ever think about cycling around the world?
No.
Well, our next guest is about to do just that.
Cycle round the world.
Yeah, on a tandem bike. Laura Massey-Pugh.
Wow. Let's get her on.
Yeah, okay.
Hi, I'm Mike Brampton.
And my name is Julian Ho.
Welcome to Veterinary Ramblings.
Wow. Here's the thing.
Let's get her in.
Let's not mention cycling at all.
Shall we not?
Shall we not? Let's not.
No, let's not.
Laura, hello.
Laura, hello.
Welcome, Laura. Thanks for coming on.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me.
I can't help feeling we ought to mention bikes at least once more because you're going around the world.
Yes.
On a tandem.
Yes.
To beat a world record.
Hopefully, yes.
With a man who has the longest beard outside of ZZ Top.
Yet to be confirmed, but yes.
Cool.
Do you know something? I just get the feeling. I've only just met you, Laura, but I've got the feeling that you will be you will put yourselves in the position to confirm that is the longest beard outside of ZZ Top. I don't know what it is that.
I don't know. The beard world's quite competitive. I think there's like worldwide competitions and things. I think Steve looked into entering one once and then realised that it's actually quite it's like a lifelong dedication of beard growth.
Well, it'd have to be. I mean, it's only goes down to his navel so far, doesn't it?
I know exactly. It's not even close to his kneecaps. So.
An impressive set of moustaches as well, I have to say.
Yeah, he's quite proud of those too.
Right.
Rather jealous. I'm fascinated.
I know you're fascinated by this beard and this ability to grow a great big, bushy, fabulous-looking beard. And we only know that because we've been on a particular website. What's your website called, Laura?
It's SteLaTandem.com.
SteLaTandem.com.
Yeah. So it's like Stevie and Laura. So STLA, 1L. Yeah.
SteLaTandem.com. Now, that's the only reason that you know that her tandem partner has got the bushiest beard of anything. I want to know what on earth has made
waxes it with.
Never mind that.
Sorry. Right, no, sorry. I guessed what you were going to say and I missed my guess. I'm sorry.
What? Right, Laura, you're a vet. You're a veterinary surgeon.
Yes.
And you earn your living or have earned your living looking after animals up and down the country. Yep. What on earth has possessed you to decide to try and break a world record, which I'm sure you're going to do, of riding round the world on a tandem with your partner, Steve, your husband, Steve?
Yeah, when you put it like that.
Right, was this a particular...
But yes, it's I've always liked bikes as well, and if any of my compatriots from university are listening, they would remember me cycling to Edinburgh campus in all weathers, even when I was at uni. So I've always liked bikes. Meeting Steve.
They remember it because you were living in Sussex at the time.
Not quite. They used to try and stop and offer me lifts when it was snowing. They'd be like, I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've always been a bit of an oddball in that respect. But yeah, it's then meeting Steve, it just kind of spiraled out of all proportion because he was already like a long distance, very accomplished rider. And unfortunately, that gave me far too many ideas. And then through my small mishap with work where I ended up unemployed and knocked down, I think I had too much time on my hands to think about things, and being up at home had the kind of opposite effect on me and gave me massively itchy feet. And it was just before lockdown when the female world record holders came back in on like the second class ferry. And we saw their record and just thought, oh my goodness, that's amazing. They've done this fantastic, amazing ride on a tandem. And we kind of went, I think we could go faster.
And you're hoping to go a lot faster, aren't you? Because they did it in 263 days.
Yes, they did.
Beating the previous world record by 7 or 8 days. And you're You're going to beat it by 76 days or 77 days.
Yeah, so we're aiming for 180. They would still keep their record because Guinness differentiates between male, female, and mixed. So that's quite nice because they're lovely people. They've helped out loads. So they still keep their record, but we would be setting a record that's faster than theirs.
Is that because you can't get time off work?
Oh.
Is that because you can't get the time off work?
No, work's given me the time off. It was one of the conditions of me taking the job. I went to the second interview for the job, and Sarah and Ruth, who my employers, kind of said they were so worried about me because I looked so nervous. They thought I was going to tell them something awful, like I was, got a terminal disease or something. And I came out with, I'm afraid I've got this plan to cycle around the world on a tandem and it's all in process and I'd need that time off. And they just went, wow, and I was just so excited. So they kind of instantly agreed to that. But I probably should come back to work and start making money again at some point.
A bit like maternity leave.
Yeah, that's what I say.
But did they say you've only got 180 days off?
No, that was purely my doing. And yeah, I think we wanted to make it a hard record, not saying that the ladies, they did a tremendous job. They're kind of very proficient club cyclists, but they're not as much in the long distance kind of riding as we are. Whereas we've done so much of it, we kind of felt like we could, up the bar a bit. And, we want, if somebody breaks our record, that's great, but we want them to be really serious about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, and you've done some other challenges, haven't you? The Paris ride and around Wales.
Yeah, that's been our training ride. So Mark Beaumont, who's got the men's record for cycling around the planet, his training ride was riding around the UK, but I couldn't get enough time off work for that. So we rode around Wales as a practice for riding around the world. I think there'll be a few less sheep around the world and hopefully less hills. But apart from that,
I think the same number of different languages.
Yeah,
yeah, potentially, yes.
Yeah, and I think there are some people in Wales that would claim that you have ridden around the world.
Yeah, I think we met some of those as well. Yeah, they were very friendly. Yeah.
Laura, what got you into riding bicycles?
Yeah, so as I say, I've just always ridden them, and I've always, I suppose, commuted on them. But yeah, it was literally on first meet, so not even our first date. The first time I met Steve, it was actually a beer festival, and I was serving the beer, and he was quite happily drinking the beer. And he managed to bump into me on my break from behind the bar, as it were, and came up and started telling me all these wonderful stories of riding around the country. And he told me that he'd ridden from Land's End to John O'Groats to back in just over 9 days. And at the time, I almost didn't believe him, but I kind of was like, and yeah, he took my number, and yeah, the kind of it goes on from there.
Right.
But
you've ridden bicycles all your life. So what started getting you into this long distance bike riding? You're not road racing, you're not racing on the track.
I'm really slow.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that was Steve, because he's since he was very young, he's been part of the long distance cycling scene, particularly there's a club called Audax, which he told me about, and they organise things like the Paris-Brest Paris ride, and he kind of described it as a club full of old, middle-aged to old men with beards riding scruffy bikes through the night and sleeping in village halls and covering ridiculous distances, and it sounded like this thing.
You as an intelligent young lady vet went, oh yeah, I'll have some of
that's
that.
for me. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay.
So did you get a strap-on beard, or did they let you do it without?
They let me do it without. They're quite open-minded nowadays. Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. It's still a lot. I still regularly get beaten by gentlemen with decades on me that kind of zoom around these events when they don't quite look the part.
Yeah, they say they've got it in the legs, don't they?
Yeah.
It's like a muscle memory thing.
They just keep on going and going. Yeah, it's very impressive.
Okay, so your other career then, you're a vet.
Yes.
All right, right. This is called Veterinary Ramblings. We'll come back on.
We better talk about that. Okay.
Yeah, we'll come back onto the cycling in a minute. But the show's called Veterinary Ramblings. So when did you know you wanted to be a vet?
Again, that was first time I can remember I was about 8 years old, so I've kind of got that typical story. It's like almost as long as I can remember. I can remember saying I wanted to be a vet, and then all through school, everything was focused on that is what I'm going to do.
So Laura the vet all the way through school.
Yeah.
So all of your studies,
all of
everything.
my studies, all of my subjects were picked around getting into vet school. Yeah.
Right. So which would you choose then? Bike riding or vetting?
Oh gosh, that's a hard question, isn't it? It probably depends on my mood on the day. I'm very privileged to have access to both at the moment. So
Okay, well, if you're struggling to answer that one, let's break it down then. What do you like most about being a vet?
Again, I think it's a challenge. Again, I think it's a different sort of challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's not just the cycling with this trip. It's like the logistics and the planning and everything that goes into it too. And I think there are parallels to being a vet too. Kind of having your organization and putting things in place, making plans, problem solving. There's a lot of kind of transferable skills.
Mm-hmm.
And the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, and the
Pretty
challenge.
much.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay, well, let's try and break it down the other way then. What do you dislike most as being a vet?
Being inside too much. Yeah, I know I could go and be a farm vet and be outside, but that's my big bear is staring out the window and going, oh, it'd be a great day for a bike ride.
So what do you dislike most about riding bikes?
Not a lot.
What? Not.
I don't know. I think there could be a different answer to that after 180 days.
Well, there could very well be. So the puncture with 100 miles to go, and it's freezing cold, and the wind has just turned into your face, and it's going to get dark soon. Yeah,
but that's different. So that's called type 2 fun, and type 2 fun is the best fun ever when you're in the pub afterwards telling all your mates about it, and then it's just amazing, and that pint or that cup of tea is
Wow.
I relate to that. I'm a climber. I love this idea of type 2 fun.
Type 2 fun. Definitely.
Yeah.
Right, come on. I want to hear. Right. How many types of fun are there?
I don't know. I think about this sometimes. There's definitely, type 1 fun's the fun that normal people have. And then type 2 fun's the kind of fun that's only fun after you've survived and you're later in the pub. I think type 3 fun's probably no fun at all for anybody ever.
Type 3 fun's probably accountancy or something, isn't it?
Yeah, I think.
Well, yes, it was a great fun day today. I managed to save, let's see, the edict tar was about 4% shaved. It was fantastic. Really, I won't have a beer now. I've got a few more calculations to do later. Thanks very much. That's type 3 fun.
Yeah, that's definitely got its own type.
I'm loving.
I love this type 2 fun. Fantastic.
Yeah. Laura's guide to type 1 and type 2 fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should probably carry. It's not just me. That's quite a well-known thing in the adventure/endurance world is type 2 fun. Yeah.
I've certainly had quite a few type 2 fun days climbing.
Yeah.
And some of them I've recognised as type 2 fun 2 days later when I got out of the hospital. And it's been, well, that was an adventure, wasn't it? Oh, we did laugh then, didn't we? Yeah. Was the helicopter very noisy?
That's what I mean. You get a great story out of it, don't you, afterwards? If you can tell the story down the pub after, that's type 2 fun, yeah.
So I guess fishing must be a very sort of subdued version of type 2 fun, mustn't it?
Maybe it's got some kind of subcategory, yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. I've just found a whole spreadsheet here dealing with type 1, type 2, type 3, and type 4 fun.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, go on then.
It's too detailed.
Don't make it a challenge. Oh yeah. I think type 5.
Well, I could share this with you. Okay, type 1, absolutely right. Well done, Laura. You've got it absolutely right. Type 1 fun is fun while you're doing it, and fun after you do it. Mm-hmm. The example they give here is playing a board game.
So we set the level pretty low there, haven't we?
Yeah, okay. So type 2 fun is not fun whilst you're doing it, but is fun after you do it. And their example here is, for example, running a marathon, which I think quite a few people,
Okay,
and particularly
yeah.
the endurance people, would disagree with entirely. And type 3, this comes below the line. Type 3, example, heavy drinking. Fun while you're doing it.
So it's fun while you're doing it, but afterwards.
Not fun after you do it.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Right. And type 4. Right. Not fun whilst you're doing it. And not fun after you do it. And the example here is funeral. But I'm not sure whether it's your own funeral. So presumably that's your own funeral. I don't know.
I don't know. I've never thought while I'm at a funeral, not as fun as I thought it would be. Oh, well, there we go. Type 4 for you, isn't it? Hey, I've got a board game. At least we can make this from type 4 to type 1.
I don't know. I think board games might be in type 4.
Well, that would be, what's that TV program? It was big on the Squid Game. Which is, I've not seen it, but it's a bit like Hunger Games, I think, isn't it? Where you stand the chance to win the game or you die.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, something tells me you don't watch a lot of television, do you, Laura?
No. How did you guess?
Well, hang on a minute. But you're right. Okay, so let's talk about cycling. I do know a little bit about cycling. You're on the back of this tandem, so you're what's known as the stoker.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to really look where you're going.
No, I close my eyes sometimes. Yeah.
So why don't you have a little screen on Steve's back? And then you could catch up with all sorts of things like
this has been mentioned. Yeah, it is.
Huh?
It is quite tempting. Yeah,
you can watch the Squid Games.
Yeah,
I could potentially catch up on all the TV that I've missed over the past however many years. So.
I was going to say 3 decades.
When people talk about Love Island and things like that, I could actually join the conversation.
Would you want to?
No idea. I've never seen it.
And what type of fun would that be?
Oh, hang on. Do you want me to get the spreadsheet up again? No, I think that's type 4 fun, isn't it?
Well, it would be type 4 fun if that's what Steve was doing.
What?
While he's steering, if he's watching daytime television while he's steering, then it would rapidly turn from type 2 to type 4 fun.
Right. Okay.
Mm.
Laura, I'm so grateful to you for introducing me to type 1, type 2. And I'm glad I could share with you type 3 and type 4 fun.
Yeah.
That's amazing stuff.
Well, let's hope none of us have too much type 4 fun.
Yeah.
In the foreseeable future, because that sounds like the worst fun, doesn't it?
I suppose it just depends whether it's your funeral or you're attending somebody's funeral.
Yeah, it's not really clarified that, has it?
No. I guess if you really didn't like that person, it could be all right, couldn't it? So cycling. I still can't get over 180 days round the world. I mean, that's a hell of a long way, isn't it?
Yeah, it is quite a long way. Yeah.
And there are certain bits, I'm guessing, that you're going to have to miss out, aren't there, this time round?
Yeah. Luckily, we weren't going through Russia ever, so that's not so much issue. But there's bits of water we have to get over, and some places that won't let us in, and yeah.
Have you had to apply for visas at other places?
Yeah, so we've got all our visas now. Yeah. Some took.
They've been quite willing to give them.
Yeah, we don't seem to. Yeah, some of them took a while. Like Australia's not been open that long, so I think they've got a bit of a backlog at the moment. But yeah, it was.
So, are you taking a tennis racket with you to Australia? Because that seems to be the way to get into Australia.
I don't think we will. We won't try that one.
Oh, but they've let you into Australia.
Yeah, without a tennis racket. Yeah.
Awesome.
Great.
So Laura, crash helmet or kepi, little cap?
crash helmets. Yeah, we have got little caps which you do wear under the crash helmets, but I think our parents are neurotic enough already even about the trip without wearing wearing a crash helmet.
Do you wear it all the time, or do you hang it over the end of your handlebars like I see the school kids do?
Pretty much. The only time we don't wear it, we've not worn it riding up Mont Ventoux. It's been super hot and we're doing about 2 miles an hour. So the implications of falling off the bike are pretty low, but in general we tend to wear crash helmets.
Fair enough.
And carb or no carb?
Whatever we feel like. There's no rules in ultra endurance. It's
Isn't it? Can I ask how you stopped from bonking?
eat food.
Okay. Okay.
Have a lot of food secreted about the bike and our personage all the time. Yeah, we've got 2 nose bags mounted on the bike, which are usually stuffed full of whatever, chocolate, sweets, dried fruit, bars. Yeah, so a lot of food.
And you're looking forward to eating the local flavours as you go.
Yeah, that'll be quite exciting. Yeah, I think local snacks is quite an exciting idea. First time into a petrol station or garage in a new country and getting to see what's available.
Sure. Well, take some Imodium with you just in case.
Yeah, we've got plenty of that. Yeah.
So what else are you taking?
Well, we're having to go as minimal as possible because we're carrying everything. So, but we have got we're getting a very lightweight tent and sleeping gear, and we've got a tiny little stove. Just because we will be out in the wilderness in places. But apart from that, it's just
what stove you got? What stove is it? Do you know?
It's called a Krakow. It's from Albeit, so it's like 44 grams.
They're brilliant. They're brilliant. It's a dual fuel one, is it? Or
no, it's gas only. But we kind of figure the places we're most likely to use it, we should be getting hold of gas anyway. So when we don't need to cook, we can just ditch the gas. And then we've just got to carry forward 4 grams. So
right. Yeah. I think it's worth mentioning here, and that you're doing this self-supporting, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I think it's worth mentioning that because I rode around Britain in 3 days, but I was part of a 6-man team, and we had a camper van, we had a following vehicle, we had everything that we needed. At the time, if any one of us or any of that team had attempted to do that ride, then there's no question we would have failed. But you're doing now. You mentioned earlier on a gentleman by the name of Mark Beaumont. Now I don't know Mark. I may have met him. I don't know, but Mark rode around the world solo, to all intents and purposes. And this is not to detract from the achievement. But Mark had got a support team with him, hadn't he?
He had a support team of 40 people in total around the world. They weren't all with him at the same time. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realise.
Slightly bigger budget than us.
Gosh, but you're doing it's just you and Steve, and your bike, your wits.
It is worth mentioning as well the female world record holder, that's Jenny Graham.
Yeah.
Holds the record for 226, it might be 23, 26 days.
Right.
She did it entirely unsupported.
Whoa.
She's pretty amazing.
In cycling terms, there's an expression which is chapeau, which roughly translates to hats off or doffing the cap or touching the brow of your cap. To do that solo as a female is just
incredible. If you misspell it.
Sorry? What?
Well, if you put it through, I don't know, Google or something, you'll probably be misspelled and come up on auto check and be turned to chateau.
Chateau, yeah, it probably would do with your spelling, yeah.
Monsieur, I take off my castle to you.
Yeah, but there isn't a direct translation for it. That's the thing.
No, there isn't, is there?
No, because really. you wouldn't say hats.
No.
A chapeau is a hat.
Yeah, that's true. But you would say, I take my hat off to you.
Yeah.
I say that all the time.
I know you do, but
they shout it at you in France on the road. They'll be like, chapeau.
Yeah.
Hey. Hello. Yeah.
And alley.
Yeah.
And
you don't get
up.
They say some nonsense, don't they?
Been there numerous times, and their car horns have got that funny pop, 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 pop. Yeah, I don't know. Loving it. So this extended maternity leave that you're taking from work, have you thought about what's next?
Back to work.
Yeah, I'll probably have to go and do some work again. Yeah. And then, see which challenge lures me in next.
I want to touch on this because it's a part we've talked on the show quite a lot about mental health, haven't we, Julian?
We have.
And one of the things that is well documented is the Olympic Letdown, where the athlete is on a 4-year cycle, training hard for that one event. And they either make it or they don't, but they get to the Olympics and they participate in their particular sport, whatever that may be. And then if they're not managing the situation very carefully, they have a big letdown. Now, you've mentioned there parry, breast, parry, and I love the way you just nonchalantly went, parry, breast, parry, which is a ride from all the way from Paris right over to the West Coast, Brest, and you turn around and you go back again, all in one go. It's non-stop. And there's no, yes, you can sleep and there are places to sleep or get your head down for a few hours, but it's just non-stop. But how long did it take you to do that?
92 and a bit hours.
92, right.
How far is it?
Oh gosh, it may not complete. No, it's 12,000 miles.
1,200 miles, yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
No, 1,200 kilometres. Oh, how can I not know this?
That's all right. Well, probably because you put it to the back of your mind. Because it's.
But I do know what you're talking about because there's something called the post-adventure blues in ultra endurance. Yeah,
well, I think
1,200 kilometres.
It's a post-event blues, isn't it?
Yeah. So it is a big thing, and it is something that we're kind of quite aware of. That when we come back to this, it's not going to be a case of just me just
slotting back into.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that?
So I say I've been very well supported by my job, and kind of in view of that, I've kind of made arrangements with them to keep work life quite flexible in terms of how much I do or don't do. It may well be that I find it quite beneficial to kind of launch myself back into it again, having had so much time off, or I just can't know. It's not like I can ask anybody else for advice either. But I think for me, it'll definitely be having the next big, the next thing to focus on, be that work related or be it something else. I might be sick of cycling by then.
And do you have any other ideas? Anything? Any other cycle related things you'd like to sort of knock off?
Yeah, there's a few things. Yeah, there's not all of them I've confessed to my husband yet, but
but playing it close to your chest. Not going to mention it just now, are you?
I don't think he'll get
Chris. Laura. Chris Hoy is married and he hasn't got a beard. Yeah, trust that one.
I'd quite like to do something. I think solo. I've done a few little bits, and Paris Best Paris was on solo bikes as well. So that was quite a good challenge, just to prove my worth as a solo cyclist. So maybe either cycling or running or something.
Steve's never heard.
Probably not another world record, mind, but just another personal challenge.
Have you done much cycling in Antarctica?
No, not a lot. That wasn't on my list, I must admit. I think you're approaching type 4 from there pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think
it could be. We're trying to crack Antarctica. We've got viewers and listeners in every continent of the world, other than Antarctica. And so, if you wouldn't mind just popping off to Antarctica after this.
If we get horribly lost, I'll let you know. And we'll tune in.
Yeah, careful. If you take a compass, it may not be as accurate as you might hope.
Yeah, there is that.
It's only two directions there. South and everywhere else.
Yeah.
Well, there's down as well.
with the shovel, yes.
As Shackleton found out, and the idea of endurance riding across the Antarctic ice. For our American listeners, that's an in-joke to do with Arctic and Antarctic exploration. With the great explorer Ernst Shackleton, who lost his boat in the ice, leaving him and his crew abandoned on the ice for 2 years.
In fairness, that they didn't lose it. They knew exactly where it was. They just couldn't get it out because it was surrounded by ice. But they knew where it was all the time. It's there.
They found it again recently, haven't they?
Mr. Shackleton, it's still here. Yes, I know. Thank you very much. You said you lost it. No, I know. It's there. I've got it. It's just here. Yes, all right. That was level 4, class 4 fun every day, wasn't it?
I just love this class 1, class 2, 3, 4. Can't get over it. Mind blown.
I can't believe you've not heard of it.
I love it. There we go. How old am I? And I'm learning new stuff every day. Thank you, Laura. There we go.
So you haven't got people sort of coming out to spend a day or two cycling alongside of you, just for fun?
Not really. I don't think many people cycle that distance just for fun, to be honest.
They wouldn't, I don't know, catch a plane to Pakistan and just spend a day just zooming along next to you, chatting.
No, not really. Whether anybody will crop up en route, obviously they'll have to cycle behind us so they don't invalidate our world record, because that'd be a shame. But
that's all you do with tandems. That's all. I used to love catching up with a tandem, just sitting behind them in the slipstream.
Yeah. And
it's like riding behind a motorbike or a bus or a lorry. Just drag you along the road as they chunter away down. Yeah. So I've learnt loads tonight. Loads. Laura, have you come across 60-second CPD?
I have, yes.
Have you?
Yes.
It's called a challenge.
I know.
In our little world. Now,
do be careful, because Laura tends to be up for challenges pretty pronto, doesn't he?
I was going to say,
amongst everything else, I've not had a huge amount of time.
I'm sure.
But I'll give it a shot.
You were writing a little PowerPoint as your computer was stuck to Stevie's back. You were cycling along today, working on this PowerPoint.
I did actually take my little draft of what I was going to say along on our bike ride today and had it in my. I didn't quite tape it to his back, but
really,
yeah, it did come with us.
That's awesome.
I've been very busy.
That's awesome. So okay, well, I'm thrilled that you're up for the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it's a challenge in comparison with riding a bicycle or tandem around the world, but
no.
Our 60-second challenge. There's actually 2 parts to that now, and you may not be aware of the second part yet. But so you're up for taking on the 60-second challenge?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you going to talk about?
It's tips for ultra endurance athletes and veterinary professionals.
Ooh.
Ultra endurance athletes.
So for both.
And veterinary professionals.
Yeah, so both at the same time.
Wow. Okay. Well, in that case, then, Laura is going to give us 60-second CPD. Here's the clock on tips for endurance athletes and veterinary surgeons, starting now. Okay,
so number 1 is break it down. If you got 100 miles of a 300-mile ride, or you're 8 hours into a 12-hour shift, just focus on the next 10 miles or the next 5 consults. And if that's still too much, break it down more again and just focus on doing the next pedal stroke or just opening that consult room door one more time. Number 2 is don't faff. Ultra endurance athletes may save time with a 1-in, 1-out approach to nutrition, and we may all have been guilty of shuffling celebrations down while going for a wee in a brief break. But try and structure your day, try and plan your meals, and get as much done as possible in the first instance to free yourself up later on. Number 3 is everything is temporary. The darkest, wettest night always ends in morning and breakfast. And if you can't find your ovarian pedicle for bleeding, take a deep breath and remember that healthy young dog booster is on its way. Number 4 is be kind, not just to everybody else, but yourself.
Well done.
Fantastic stuff.
Excellent. And it was, CPD for one size fits all, whether you're an ultra athlete or a vet.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of parallels. I think the veterinary profession are all ultra endurance athletes themselves, particularly in the last couple of years.
I always say I've never found a Monday that hasn't finished.
Yeah, that's a good one actually. Yeah.
And so that's brilliant. That's lovely. So to a certain extent, that's sort of like the 1, 2, 3 on how to eat an elephant. One mouthful at a time.
Baby steps.
Breaking
Baby
it all down.
steps around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. And there's always something else I picked up from cycling. There's always somebody faster.
Oh goodness, yeah, exactly.
There's always somebody faster. There's always somebody cleverer. There's always somebody in a better situation. And there's always somebody in a worse situation than you.
Yeah.
Which is it's funny the things you think about on a bike, isn't it?
I like playing the quantity surveyor game when you're doing a big job. Of okay, so I was
You're worrying me here.
I was moving some topsoil the other day. I had 3 tons of topsoil. I thought I can get it done in a day, no problem. And I just thought, okay, so first thing I did was see roughly how many shovelfuls fitted in each wheelbarrow and how much it dropped the level in the bags by. And then it became a challenge. Okay, so from the first wheelbarrow load, I reckon it's going to take me 7.5 hours to do this. And see then how close I can get it. It's going to take me 1,500 wheelbarrows worth and 7.5 hours. And it was more or less on the money with it. So it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? The dreary becomes a challenge with the mind game of, let's see if I'm right on this. I reckon this client is going to be a real bugger and she'll take about 25 minutes before I'm allowed to vaccinate her dog. It was 23. Yo!
Did you used to do that on the COVID vaccination line as well?
Yeah, always. And so did you, so don't deny it.
No, I used to enjoy talking to the patients, finding
Yeah, me too.
out who they were.
What's your
Yeah.
job?
Yeah.
How much pain are you in now?
Yeah. What's your real job? Oh, by the way, I finished doing that. So do you want to go home now? That's brilliant.
So when's your last day at work then, Laura?
It's the 1st of June.
Right.
Wow.
Really, really soon. So actually, by the time this comes out, you'll be on your way. And people can support you, can't they? They can go onto your website, which, tell us again, is SteLa Tandem.
Yeah. Well, SteLa, yeah, I don't sound like
SteLa,
you're nicking
sorry,
it.
SteLa.
I was going to call it
SteLa,
SteLa, and then
SteLa
yeah, and Steve pointed out the people nicked it. But yeah, it's SteLa with 1 L. Yeah.
Right. And you're obviously you need money to subsist, but you're also raising money, aren't you, for several noteworthy causes. I know that one of them is Vet Life. We mentioned mental health of vets a few times. We've given air to Vet Life and the important work it does. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the other charities?
Yeah, sure, because we have got some sponsors for the kit, but we're entirely self-funded. So once we're on that start line, everything we raise is going to charity. So we've got just giving pages, which are linked to on the website. So Vet Life Swan, Mind, the UK mental health charities, another, and then Sustrans, which is a UK charity for sustainable travel in the UK, and they do a lot with all the National Cycle Network, which makes places more accessible, not just for bikes, but for walkers, for horses, for people out with prams and whatever else. So it's quite a kind of passion of ours as well, the sustainability of travel.
Right. Gosh, Sustrans. I've not come across that one. The others I have.
Wow.
You will have seen Sustrans routes though. They're the little blue cycle signs, and they've all got numbers around the UK, and they do a lot of the greenways and off-road routes as well.
We would have gone on one of those today then.
On the cycle route number 63 or something like that.
It was something like that, yes.
Yeah.
You have an encyclopedic knowledge of all the cycle routes around the UK. Go on then. Godalming to Gomshall Mill.
I've got no idea. Which is the Bath Bristol cycleway. That's a well-known one.
Yeah,
can't remember what number
and I
that one
can't-
is
I'm,
either.
I'm useless at remembering the numbers of them all,
Yeah,
but
I can't remember the numbers
Oh,
as
wow,
well.
there.
Oh, we're heading into type 4 fun. Sorry, no.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Look, Laura, there's just one concern I have about your CPD, you don't mind me saying. So it was absolutely fantastic. But I know that some listeners will be wanting to actually register this CPD in their log. And to do that,
I was hoping to.
Yeah, well, there we go. Now, to do it, we need to have a bit of reflection on it.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh.
So
yeah.
can you come up with a reflective question that we can ask our listeners to think about, and then maybe send their answers in?
I suppose it's got to be something. Yeah. Oh, I don't quite know how to phrase it, but about how their life as a veterinary. I suspect they're probably involved in veterinary if they're listening, but how they can relate that to ultra endurance and any tips they might have.
Okay, so reflect on the breaking down of your day into bite-sized modules.
Yeah, or anything,
how
anything
you do
that's
that.
ultra
Yeah,
endurance.
any task.
Tips, like, I don't know, people that work night shifts might have a sneaky place to get a cat nap, for example. That could be, something relatable.
Excellent, sorted. Now I think I can release the CPD.
I've got a certificate.
We have.
Perfect.
We have.
Excellent.
Here
I
we
can't
go.
wait for somebody to present these to the RCVS.
So this says certificate of a tandem nature. This certifies that circumnavigation and CPD do go together like toast and marmalade.
Oh, fantastic.
And look, there's me. I don't grow a beard, so there's me with a big leaf as a beard.
Very similar, yeah.
Very similar. Still not as big as Stevie's amazing beard, but there we go.
Yeah.
And then a few pictures of bikes I got. So there's a bike next to an upside down house.
Oh yeah, I can just about see the bike there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
there we
relevant.
go. There's a bike in Greece.
Yeah,
and
I was not going through Greece, but
I was
it's a different
expecting
country.
all those people to get on it, but they didn't, rather sadly.
Yeah.
There's my bike.
Oh.
So that was today.
Oh, you've got a white bicycle.
A white bicycle, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not usually white. It's normally sort of muddy brown, but
Yeah.
I treat it to a clean.
Yeah. You're saying that because you're pretending that you actually use it.
Yeah. and these, now there's a turtle.
That's a turtle.
And they're wildebeest.
A wildebeest.
And it was really just to move into the fact that you're going around the world kind of puts their efforts into a bit of a cocked hat as well, because turtles are one of the greatest migratory species on the planet, and wildebeest I think hold the record as the greatest numbers of migratory land-based species. That was very badly worded, but I don't think you understood. But none of them have made it around the world in 180 days, as far as we know. So well done. You've beaten the turtles and the wildebeests.
I hope so. We've not quite done it yet, but
which I think is good news.
Yeah. I've not checked
Sorry,
on any of these long distance geese or birds. Yeah, I don't know how fast some of those fly.
So land-based.
Good.
I think the largest migratory numerical largest migratory species were passenger pigeons, weren't they? They had the greatest numbers of warm bodies flying around. Anyway, there we go. That's the CPD certificate, and if you go online, you can download it.
It's great news because I've only got 4 weeks to get all my CPD in. So yeah.
Excellent, great.
So how much CPD have you got to find in the next 4 weeks?
Oh, it's at least 10 hours.
Oh, no problem. We've got at least 50 episodes that you can download and listen to. Some amazing guests on Veterinary Ramblings, and as we found out, what we're actually going to do is we're actually going to set up a whole series of reflection questions for each episode, which we used to joke that you can class this as CPD, and it was pointed out to us a couple of weeks ago that actually you can. It is classed as CPD.
Nailed it.
long as
There's
you've
at
got
least 9 hours in there preparing for my 60-second CPD then as well, because that counts. So,
Log that. Log
Yeah.
that. Absolutely.
yeah, log that. So what is next after this adventure then?
Yeah, as I said, well,
You're not
let's get
letting
through
on, are
this
you?
first. Yeah, we don't want to commit to anything. Yeah, and I think that this is the big one for us. You know, it's been a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of stress. I don't think we'd undertake anything like this again in a hurry. And how do you top it? You know,
How indeed.
it is.
Well, you can top it by coming back onto the show in 180 days or so and telling us how it
That'd be
went.
amazing.
That'd be
Would you?
fantastic.
Definitely.
That'd be amazing if you would.
Yeah,
That would be-
definitely. Oh yeah. So put me down for December sometime.
Okay, we will
Yeah.
do. We will do.
Yeah, we'll do that. That's brilliant. How long's it taken you to plan this? In all seriousness, I mean, you jokingly said it was the start of lockdown, but
Yeah, so that's when the idea came about, and then it was, I'll get my years wrong now. So it's been about 18 months.
so not that long then, in real terms.
No, but it's felt like quite a long time, yeah.
Yeah.
You managed to accomplish an awful lot in that time. You've got sponsorship. You've got your specially made seats and worn them in. You've got visas, and travel permits, and tickets, and everything. I think that 18 months has been very well spent. I think you managed to do an awful lot in that, and I applaud you. I really do. I take my hat off to you. Chapeau and all that.
Chapeau.
Chateau.
Chapeau.
Castle, dear.
Castles. Oh, God, dear, oh dear.
I wish you the very best of luck, both you and Stevie.
Well, thank you.
I'm sure it'll go fantastically.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And as we said before, so SteLaTandem.com.
Yeah.
SteLaTandem.com. Get logged in onto that and have a good
We'll have
old
a
read.
little tracker map as well, so you can watch us along the way, and
Wow.
responsible for all the annoying social media posts too.
So, Laura, listen, thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. Absolutely amazing. And to all of our listeners, if you want to hear more from some amazing people like Laura and some of the things they do, drop us a line, introduce us, and we'll see if we can get them on the show and have a chat with them. And don't forget to like and click and share and subscribe. It really does help us. So we appreciate that.
It does. Please do it. Please.
Laura, thank you very, very much indeed. I'm not going to raise a glass to you. I'll doff my cap to you, chapeau. And may your dog go with you.
May your dog go with you. May your dog go with you. Have a great time.
Have a
And we
great
look forward to speaking to you in December.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks
Amazing.
so much.
Thank you very much and good luck, Laura.